The Xbox you knew is gone. The DNA that made the Xbox platform, the people that drove and created amazing games and brought in studios are gone. Phil Spencer has retired. Sarah Bond has resigned. And it looks dire more than ever before. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Today we're going to talk about Phil Spencer retiring and all the repercussions that are coming for us as consumers and the future of Xbox. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content, and let's get into the future of Xbox. On a Friday, IGN got exclusive news that Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft Gaming, has retired and is out of the business by Sunday night, giving him 72 hours to leave. And Sarah Bond, the head of Xbox, is also been asked to resign. And if that worries you, it actually gets even worse. The new head of Microsoft Gaming will be one of Satya Nadella's handpicked AI core employees, someone who's been new to Microsoft as of 2024, someone who used to work on the board for Home Depot and Instacart. A total non-gamer will be over the entire umbrella of Microsoft Gaming that covers all of their games, studios, and hardware plans. And the only saving grace is that Matt Booty, who was formerly of Xbox Game Studios, has been promoted to the CCO. Let's get into everything because Xbox is about to celebrate their 25th anniversary. And on top of that, over the past year or so, this brand has taken so many major changes and overhauls and leadership changes that this is one surprising and shocking and striking blow to gaming fans all around the world who have wondered if Xbox is dead and wondered if they'll be able to push forward in a generation where the name Xbox and the brand and their consoles is no longer viable. Going forward, the new console, and now they've asked Phil Spencer to leave. Now, a lot of people are saying that Phil Spencer was fired or that he resigned or that he was asked to leave. We're going to dig into exactly what happened because a lot is being talked about behind the scenes. I've talked to people who are actually close to the people involved in this situation, and it is actually insane. Phil Spencer joined Xbox leadership in 2014. He took over for Don Matrick, who had run the brand into the ground with the reveal of the Xbox One. And since then, he has done everything he can to revive a brand that was in major turmoil. I won't give you the full history lesson. We've heard it all before. You hear things like Kinect. You hear about backward compatibility. He's done so many great things. But for 10 years, the Xbox brand could hardly release first-party games. And now that they're in full stride, 2024, they go multi-platform and start putting all of their games on PlayStation. And Phil Spencer was supposedly supposed to work all the way up to the launch of the new generation console in 2027, and then bow out and retire and say, thank you for everything. It's been an amazing decade. But to be asked to resign, I'll say, with 72 hours until he leaves, but he'll still oversee the work of Asha Sharma and help her in the transitional period until the summer, which would be June Showcase, the big Xbox showcase. Another key detail that isn't talked about often is that Phil Spencer was the head of Microsoft Gaming, formerly of Xbox. Now he's overseeing Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Craig Duncan, and really trying to helm the games industry as Satya Nadella over him for Microsoft, driving further into AI and pushing the team to have bigger profit margins, which led to their multi-platform approach. So over the past couple of years, Phil Spencer is a name tied to Xbox started to mean less and less, especially to fans who were keen-eyed and watching everything that was going on. Me especially, someone who has talked to Phil multiple times, I started to see that his desires or his direction for the Xbox brand was not being adhered to because Satya Nadella was driving for more profit and revenue, which meant that Xbox started to lose their identity. There's a bunch of corporate speak that comes from Asha Sharma about what she plans and intends to do and promises with her leadership over Microsoft Gaming and the Xbox brand as she works over Matt Booty. And she says, quote, "My first job is simple. Understand what makes this work and protect it. That starts with 3 commitments. First, great games. Everything begins here. I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands the craft and the challenges of building great games and has led teams that deliver award-winning work and has earned the trust of game developers across the industry. This next statement is actually a beacon of light for gaming fans who are really laser focused on the next generation console, the support of the hardware, and especially the games. And she says, quote, "Second, the return of Xbox. We will recommit to our core Xbox fans and players, those that have invested in us for the past 25 years, and to the developers who build the expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by players across the world. We will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. It connects us to the players and the fans who invest in Xbox, and to the developers who build ambitious experiences for it." Close quote. She's referring to console, which I would assume would be the next generation console. This is supposed to be an Xbox console PC hybrid, like a Steam machine built from the Xbox team. She also explains how gaming is now evolved and pushed and expanded beyond with cloud gaming, multiple devices, multiple platforms, and different mediums. And this is all corporate speak, but this doesn't really ignite more confidence in her leading the Xbox brand. The biggest problem is that Asha Sharma comes from AI Core, and Satya Nadella has a massive priority for AI in the business. He's invested some $180 billion in AI, pushing it as the number one thing and the future. AI is not going anywhere. We know that. But when it comes to Xbox fans, they want to know, what does that mean for us? Like, are our games going to be loaded with AI slop? Are they going to be built by machines and lose the soul and the feeling that makes games memorable and enjoyable? She actually directly addresses this concern, saying, quote, "As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be an art, crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us," close quote. This is in line with what Todd Howard recently said, saying that even at Bethesda Softworks, a couple of years into tons of AI advancements and integration in the workforce, that the only AI they're even looking at is mundane programming and different procedures, and not in the creative aspect. Of course, a lot of this is corporate speak. This is something that's been directed to her by the communications team and by Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer, a team effort statement by her as she takes the helm over the Xbox brand. And when you look back at all of the years of the people that led the gaming division, they were so iconic. And to see someone come from Instacart and on the board of Home Depot, especially with such a heavy tie to AI, with Phil Spencer gone and Sarah Bond gone, this really strikes a difficult outlook for Xbox fans who are hoping that their brand that they've invested in for 25 years will still be around. Let's talk about Phil Spencer leaving. He said that in the fall, in his email to the team, that he had talked to Satya about his eventual departure from the games industry and to move on to other chapters, which means maybe retiring and not having to worry about running a games business anymore. Phil Spencer is only 58 years old, but he's a few years away from traditional retirement age. He's tried for over 10 years to unearth the Xbox brand from all of its shortfalls. So it's actually not surprising that Phil Spencer has to announce his retirement right now, as it seems like this has been a long time coming. Those of us who expected him to retire once the console launched at the end of 2027, seeing this happen so quickly, looks like that Satya probably looked at Phil and said, if you want to leave, why don't we just do this now and get the transition started right away? And typically a CEO retiring has a 3 to 6 month exit strategy. And a 72-hour one really says, it's time for you to go. You tried for many years and you're barely making it happen. Let's look at Sarah Bond. Sarah Bond has been an excellent personality and a leadership person who has taken the role and moved all the way up to the head of Xbox Gaming in Phil's former place. But what has Sarah Bond done over the years? As we've watched, her former experience at T-Mobile brings her into a massive gaming division. With little experience or credibility as a gamer herself, leading a massive conglomerate that's making tons of games and trying to build game devices for everyone. She was also integral to this is an Xbox. You can get with this or you can get with that. And now she's been asked to resign. And it really looks like today she received her walking papers, that she was asked to leave, and that Satya has a plan to overhaul the leadership. It's actually surprising to me that Matt Booty is still here and, in fact, promoted by Asha Sharma. But we did get an official statement from Phil Spencer that he sent out to his teams across Microsoft saying, quote, "When I walked through the Microsoft doors as an intern in June of 1988, I could never have imagined the products I'd helped build, the players and customers we'd serve, or the extraordinary teams I'd be lucky enough to join. It has been an epic ride and truly the privilege of a lifetime. Last fall, I shared with Satya that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability, and strengthening the foundation we built. Xbox has always been more than a business. It's a vibrant community of players, creators, and teams who care deeply about what we build and how we build it. And it deserves a thoughtful, deliberate plan for the road ahead. I'm also grateful for the strength of our studio's organization. Matt Booty and our studio's teams continue to build an incredible portfolio, and I have full confidence in the leadership and creative momentum across our global studios. I want to congratulate Matt on his promotion to EVP and Chief Content Officer. As part of this transition, Sarah Bond has decided to leave Microsoft to begin a new chapter. Sarah has been instrumental during a defining period for Xbox, shaping our platform strategy, expanding Game Pass and cloud gaming, and supporting new hardware launches, and guiding some of the most significant moments in our history. Hold on, I got to stop right there. Sarah has been instrumental in the expansion of Xbox beyond a console box that has exclusives. She's been instrumental in helping push out cloud gaming and getting multiple devices and getting games out to other platforms, pushing Xbox against Phil Spencer, as I was told, to get games onto PlayStation and remove exclusivity altogether. Satya Nadella and Sarah Bond were reportedly the only ones who really didn't like having exclusives. And at a time when Xbox, now this is my opinion, at a time when Xbox really could capitalize on having their own exclusives, build their own brand, grow Game Pass even higher, they gave those away and put them on PlayStation. So now they can't sell consoles. They've priced themselves out of selling across and overseas. Well, that's the revenue that Xbox needed because, like I said earlier, they spent 10 years with almost no games. But since Matt Booty is the only remaining figurehead that we recognize and have been talking about for the past 8 to 10 years, Matt Booty actually had a statement about his promotion and his future with the Xbox brand saying, quote, "I read Phil's note with much gratitude. He has been a steady champion for game creators and our studio teams, and I've learned so much from his leadership over the years. All our games have benefited from his foundational support. I'm also very grateful to Satya for his ongoing commitment to gaming and holding a vision of how it can connect back to the larger company. He's also probably very grateful that Satya has kept him employed." Let me read more of his email. "We have good reasons to believe in what's ahead. This organization and its franchises have navigated change for decades, and our strength comes from our teams who know how to adapt and keep delivering. That confidence is grounded in a strong pipeline of established franchises, new bets we believe in, and a clear player demand for what we are building. It's my opinion that Phil Spencer wanted to retire and that he had that plan to retire sometime at the end of 2027, and things have been so difficult. The profit margins, the low financial reports, the revenue drops that went quarter after quarter have really told the leadership at Microsoft, hey, we appreciate everything you've done, Phil, but I think it's time for you to go. And 10 years has been just long enough. And Sarah Bond being in a strange position to take such a strong role, to fill the shoes of Phil Spencer without having what Phil had, was 20 years of experience working with Microsoft software, developers and Xbox studios, and working in the games industry and being a gamer himself. Sarah Bond's time to go really shows a change of Xbox that is losing an identity that was tied to those faces that we associate with the brand. Bringing in someone like Asha Sharma, someone who I've only learned about today when the news broke, is going to take some getting used to. The future of Xbox is supposed to be promising no AI slop and a focus on games and hardware, especially pushing forward with next generation. But it's hard to deny that the sting of watching Phil Spencer, the face of the Xbox brand more than anything over its 25-year career, is really a difficult thing, and that has really shown a death of a total iconic generation that we grew up with. But we have to say thanks to Phil Spencer for all that he's done, bringing backward compatibility, for pushing hard for studios and partners to work with the Xbox brand and creating things like the Xbox One X and creating Xbox Game Pass and giving us so many options in a world where the brand Xbox seemed to be out of place and was always the little brother trying to catch up to everyone else. I don't know if we'll ever see Phil in any type of games industry capacity or if he's just going to sunset everything and go enjoy his time after working tireless hours on a brand that millions and millions enjoy. It's sad to see him go. It's the end of an era, and I hope Xbox can come out shining on the other side. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've been doing this YouTube thing for about 10 years, and for the past 8 or 9 years, so many of you have reached out to watch videos, some 150 million people across, I don't know, almost 800 videos I made here on the channel. And 90 to 80% of that's been about Xbox. And I've had the privilege of meeting Phil Spencer several times, talked to him on Xbox Party Chat, and played games with him. And he was just a good dude, just a good guy, a Gen Xer that was really trying to move the Xbox brand along. But over the past couple of years, it was so apparent that he just had no say, and Satya just shot down the idea because can you really make games in a traditional sense when you're so far behind? And then Sarah Bond, I've met her and talked to her so many times. She's so nice, but we'll never hear from her again. I don't know if she'll be in the games industry either. I don't know where her next transition will be. But as a content creator who's covered Xbox, it really concerns me about how are we going to talk about things? What if things get so far afield that it just isn't the games industry we like anymore? Thankfully, as someone who covers lots of studios and games and the hardware, all those things are still really, really great. It's those corporate decisions that frustrate me, the price hikes and all of the changes they make that just didn't align with what we thought an Xbox was. Thank you so much for being here and listening to my opinion and hearing about this news. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video or maybe learned some insight about what's going on, you can support the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. If you want to do more, you can do that by hitting the join button below. The join button will give you channel membership, special privileges in the chat on the live show, and early access for videos. Also, you can check out the X&C podcast. This is a podcast we do every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have a lot to say as more stuff unrolls about Phil and Sarah leaving. You can check that out on demand on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you like to listen to that after the fact, but it's live and on demand on YouTube. Let me know what you think about Phil retiring and the changes for Xbox ahead. Are you done? Are you out? Are you going to go get a PlayStation or play on the Nintendo Switch 2? Or maybe, emulate an Ouya or something? Let me know in the comment section. And while you do, as I always say, please be nice.